This is a Kalia show, just in case you didn't know. This is a Kalia show, just in case you didn't know. This is the Kalia show. This is the Kalia show. Watch it when you're feeling low, then you'll begin to glow. Just in case you didn't know. Now you know I'm not a rapper, but I will try. My song is pretty catchy, you can't deny. So like, comment, and subscribe. Come on, girl, don't be shy. I will keep you up all night, and I'll keep your spirit bright. Let's go. This is the Kalia show, just in case you didn't know. This is the Kalia show, just in case you didn't know. Hey guys, how are you today? Welcome back to the Kalia show. For today's show, I wanted to tell you 10 tips for preparing for a test, an exam, or a quiz. I know we all stress when it comes to tests and quizzes. Well, I do. I have really bad test anxiety. So maybe these tips can help some of you as they do for me. Tip number 1. If you go back and review the material while it's still fresh in your brain, that really helps you to remember it better. So right after class, maybe go back home and look at your notes. Step 2. Do not squeeze all your studying in the night before or the morning of. I know that we have done this before. I'm guilty of it. I just had a test last week maybe, and I studied that morning, the class before I studied. So it wasn't that helpful because I was in another class studying for my next class's exam, which means that I was missing the information that I was getting in that class. So it's really better that we do not try and rush studying. It's important that we plan it out ahead of time. You never know what distractions you may have, such as your friends wanting you to come hang out, go to a birthday party, go to the mall, buy a new outfit. Your mom could be talking loud on the phone. I'm not going to say any names, but space out your time wisely when you're studying. Don't just study one day. Maybe study 3 to 4 times a week for a specific subject. Tip number 3, try studying in a quiet and a bright place. You can study in your room if you would like, but make sure you're at a desk. Do not study in your bed because you know what that leads to. You'll be knocked out. It happens to me. I so-called try studying, writing notes while I'm laying in my comfortable bed, but then I end up falling asleep, which is not good. So study in a bright and quiet place with no distraction. Number 4, try putting your cell phone, this pretty little thing that we all are so attached to we cannot let go. Try putting your phone in the refrigerator. A teacher once told me that and I thought it was ridiculous, but it pretty much works because you forget all about your phone and where it is. You're focused on studying. Tip number 5, create a cheat sheet. Now, though we may not be able to use a cheat sheet on the actual test, it helps you to remember. It helps your brain to remember once you're writing it all out as if you're going to use it. Don't use it, wink, wink. I'm not telling you to bring a cheat sheet on your test, and then if your teacher catches you, I'm not getting blamed, so no. Just use the cheat sheet for practice, for helping you study. For the cheat sheet, you can use a little note card, and that way, as you're writing it down, now your brain has encoded a little summary of what is important for you to remember for that test. Tip number 6, get a good night's sleep. Sleep is so important. You don't want to be... Sleep is so important. You do not want to stay up till 2 o'clock in the morning. Then you have to wake up early for your test, and then you're all discombobulated because you didn't get enough sleep the night before. So it's important that you go to sleep early. Yes, early. Maybe 9, maybe 10, but just please try and get at least 8 hours of sleep before your test. That way you'll be well-rounded for the next day, and you'll get up and have lots of energy. Tip number 7. Make sure you eat a good breakfast. I know this is kind of cliche, but it's really true. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day. And if you don't have those proper nutrients, then you're not going to be able to function in class, and you're going to be hungry and all over the place while you're trying to take the test. So please eat a big breakfast before your test. That really helps. Tip number 8, quiz yourself or have somebody else quiz you. What I used to do is take Cornell notes, and so we would have on the left side of the page maybe the word, and then on the right side of the page the definition, and you can fold it so that way if you had like a vocab test, something like that, that would be an example you could do. Or you can just write out questions that you think or that you know will be on the test and give it to someone else and have them question you. And then that helps you remember also. Tip number 9, check your answers when you're finished taking your test, your quiz, or your exam, because chances are one of the questions that you answered before could help you on another question. Oftentimes, like, the teachers put the answers hidden somewhere in a different question, but you would only know that if you go back through and check your answers. So, tip number 10, lastly, you should appreciate test taking. Think of it as a part of learning, the learning experience. That's what it really is. So don't be scared to take the test. Don't go in there like, oh, I'm going to fail and blah, blah, blah. I hate tests, because if you think about it negatively, you probably will fail. So think of it as a positive thing. I'm going to pass this test. I will do well. I remember the material. Because if you're scared, you're causing unnecessary stress. But you should be thinking of it as, oh, this is a beautiful way to exercise my brain. So those are the 10 great ways to make sure that you pass your next test. I really hope that this was helpful. And if you have any questions, feel free to comment, inbox me on Instagram at @LeahBonita_ or Twitter or Snapchat. And I will see you next time on the Kalia Show.
This is the Kalia Show. This is a Kalia Show, just in case you didn't know.